Hello and welcome to the Stashy-downy Diaries. My name is Jen and this is my YouTube channel where I talk all about my knitting projects and plans with a focus on using up my stash. Although this episode is going to be a little more Stashy-uppy than Stashy-downy. If you are new here, welcome. I'm coming to you from beautiful Cape Breton Island in Atlantic Canada, and today is September 30th, 2024, which is, I always forget to say the date and I always forget to say what episode number it is. I never know what the episode number is until I go to upload it and I have to check what the previous episode was. So anyway, yeah, I'm not the greatest YouTuber. So that's fine. Stick with me. It's all good. You're gonna see pretty yarn and projects and stuff. So all that other stuff doesn't matter. Okay, so what happened since the last video? Okay, so I met the grocery girls and other yarny people. I will talk about that towards the end. I think what we'll do today is get acquisitions out of the way. This is going to be my last purchase. Well, okay, there's a kink in, and you'll understand when I get to it. So it's my last purchases. I've done purchasing yarn for quite a while, probably until March. I probably won't purchase yarn, but I do have one more thing coming, which I will explain. But yeah, I'll just get into it then. So before, a few months ago, I purchased this beautiful skein of curly locks. It was an impulse buy at Tracy's. It is freaking gorgeous. And what I've always wanted to make is an Island Embrace blanket by Kat Bordy. It is a free pattern on Ravelry. And I've wanted to make one since I started knitting and I first got on Ravelry and I saw it. I just love the textures of it. And it was just like, I can't afford the yarn to make that correctly. So one of the yarns is the Curly Locks from Fleece Artist. So once I had that purchased as kind of an impulse buy, I was like, well, I can just like try to get more of the different textures of yarns to go with it. And so I went on a hunt for the same colorways. And I did manage to find online at Red Sand Fiber Art Studio, which is out of PEI. I found the Slubby mix. And I think like the yarns that were used in the original blanket are the same but slightly different. Like you use a curly one, a slubby one, and then there was another curly one that was made of alpaca, which is discontinued, and I couldn't find like a good replacement for it, so I just went with a regular yarn because these two are going to put a lot of texture in it anyway. So yeah, Red Sand Fiber Art Studio. This is the Slubby mix. It is in the Marbles colorway, just like this one. So I got those two, and that was a great shop to work with. I will link them below. They were quick to ship and everything was lovely and wonderful. And then I found, this is Fleece Artist Front Country in the Marbles colorway. Look at it. Look at that. So freaking gorgeous. And I found this on the Thoughtful Artisan website. They are out of Ontario. And I ordered with it, I saw that they had West Yorkshire Spinners sock yarn, and I love West Yorkshire Spinners sock yarn. So they had the rainbow one in stock. So I ordered that. But before the package came, I got an email from them saying, I think we might have sent you the wrong colorway, and let us know and we will send you the right one. And lo and behold, yeah. So this wasn't the one that I ordered. This one is lovely though. It's Passion Fruit Cruller, and it reminds me of like, because I have wine on the brain because I went on a wine tour and was at vineyards. It reminds me of a vineyard. So you got the purple grapes, the like lighter yellow grapes, and then like the green vines. It is very grapey. So they are sending me the correct colorway I can't remember what it's called, but it's the rainbow one, and I wanted it for knitting the kids' socks. So otherwise I would have been just like, don't worry about it, but I don't think the kids are gonna like this one as much. So anyway, great shop to deal with also. I am going to link everybody below that I talk about with my acquisitions. So that is my yarn that is coming, and that will be my last acquisition. I'm done with purchases, but that will be my last acquisition that you will see coming into the stash probably until March. I'm going to focus a little more on non-yarn knitting things because I have a couple of things I want to do. I really want to make like a designated saltwater stash down kit. I have needle tips and cables that I don't use as often. I do prefer now to use the fixed cables because I guess it's the way I twist my hand or something while I'm knitting. I always end up like unscrewing it a bit and then have to screw it back in and stuff. So I thought about getting like a set, and then I realized I already have most of a set between my Knitter's Pride and Knit Picks, which are interchangeable with the cables. So I'm going to look at what sizes are missing that I would need for the saltwater knitting books, because there's a range of sizes, but there's not a whole lot. It's like from size US 4 to US 8 or something. That's mostly in the book. So I will take a look. Actually, there's US 3 as well. So I know I need US 3 tips for sure, but most of them I have. So I'm going to put together that kit. So that's the kind of thing that I'll be purchasing. And I might purchase bigger sock blockers than the ones that I have, because some of the socks I knit are bigger. Like I initially bought my sock blockers for my socks size. So yeah, and I just use them for taking pictures. I don't really use them for actually blocking the socks. I just lay them flat. Anyway, that was a tangent. That was those purchases. I am going to go in chronological order. Oh yes, but first let us look. So this is going to be my Island Embrace blanket. I don't know when I'm going to cast it on. I really want to cast it on when I'm done my fire season blanket. It should be a fairly quick knit. It's on larger needles. So yeah, I was thinking about saving it for a Christmas Eve cast on, but I don't think I can wait that long. I think I just want to knit this up. So yeah, that is that one. So let's talk purchases on cruise ship day at Tracy's Rolling Yarn Shop. And I got gorgeous things here. So Timber Yarns was there, and they brought with them some of this new to me yarn. It is Muskoka Yarn Goddess from Ontario. Look at that colorway. So this is one they specially dyed up for cruise ship day. It is inspired by a picture of Peggy's Cove. Just like, that is just gorgeous. So I couldn't resist that one. It's going to be a muscle burrow for probably one of the kids. It is a merino yarn. Does have nylon in it, but I don't want to use it for socks. I'm not a huge fan of merino in socks if you're going to like wear them outside in your boots or whatever. I do like the merino for hats and stuff, because if it's like close to your skin, you know, sometimes if you have wool that's a little too itchy, it gets annoying on your forehead. So, yeah, so that is what that one is going to be. And then Karen from Pretty Strings was there, and this yarn has been in Tracy's Rolling Yarn Shop. It's part of her stock. Like, mostly these yarn dyers didn't bring a bunch of yarn with them. They just kind of came to hang out, which was awesome, and it was great to meet them. I'll talk more about that later, but this is what I purchased from Pretty Strings. Look at it. Yeah, Maisie loves it, don't you, Maisie? Hey, look at it, Maisie. Anyway, so it's called Unicorn Burps, and this one is for me. I think it's going to be socks for me to wear indoors so I can stare at my feet and admire them. But I'm also wondering about maybe a book sleeve or something also that I would be looking at a lot, because can we just Like, look at it. I freaking love it. So yeah, those are my 2 yarn purchases on cruise ship day. So then I went on my trip. I left on the Thursday so that I could drive up to Amherst and go. It was mainly for the bookstore, but also to go to Deanne Fitzpatrick's studio and get more yarn for my fire season blanket, because I knew I was going to need more of the green. On the way there, I stopped at a great Canadian dollar store and got the gold. So let me just, yeah, so here's the gold. Briggs & Little Heritage. This is for when the fire index is high, and I could see from like upcoming days that I had recorded the fire weather that I'm going to need more for the high index. So I knew I was going to need that. So I got that one. And then when I went to Deanne Fitzpatrick, I was going to buy a couple of more of the Northern Sky, but they were all sold out of the old version of Northern Sky. Now, if you've been watching me for a bit, you know the saga of the Northern Sky yarn with the 2 different versions of it. So the version I was using is all gone. It's just the new version that's there. I think I'm going to be okay for the rest of the season. There's not a whole lot of fire season left. There's only like 2 weeks left. And from what I have left to knit that I have recorded in my book, there's not a whole lot of low fire weather index. So even if I get a bunch of, like, if every day for October is low, I'm still okay with, because I have 1 full skein of that yarn left. So I'm good for the blue. So I got the green, which I knew I needed. And I got an extra one just in case, and also because I love this color. And because there was no blue, that gave me free reign to get 2 different colors instead of the 2 blue skeins, because, you know, I had that budget kind of set aside for it. And I've been admiring this one on the website. This one is called Sheltered Waters. This is so up my alley. It is unbelievable. And this one is unlike any of the other Briggs & Little colors that I have or that can be found in the regular collection, and this is called Citrus. So I got that one. I thought it looked great with a lot of colors that I had. And then when I got to the cash register and put them down on the counter, when they all came together, look at this. Look how beautiful. So I'm really hoping that I have some of this left over to put with this for mittens or something, because yeah, look at it. I love it so much. So that was Deanne Fitzpatrick's studio. And then I went to the Valley, the Annapolis Valley here in Nova Scotia. For those who don't know, it is wine and apple country. Just it's the best in September. You can go, you pick apples, sunflowers, peaches, plums, all kinds of different things. So, and just like all the great baking and just all the produce. I got a white pumpkin. Like, you can't get those around here. So the Valley, it's like one of my favorite places to go in Nova Scotia. So I went to Gasbro Valley Fibers, which is an excellent yarn shop. One of my favorites. They have sheep there. Their shop is in a converted barn that is, you know, converted into a yarn shop. And by the time I got there, between all the traveling, I had been to IKEA and spent money. I was starting to get like spending fatigue, so I didn't really want to spend too much. So I got one yarny thing. Oh, and I got Eucalan because I knew I was gonna need some. But I got yarn from Their Own Sheep. So this is a kit for flying geese mittens. And I will put the picture up right here, right now, so you can see what those look like. I'm just going to grab one from their Instagram because I forgot to take a picture of it while I was in the shop. But yeah, this is their Cotswold sheep, it's upside down, yarn. I have no idea what this weighs as far as grams in. I'm going to have to weigh it when I go to knit it and figure that out. I'm going to have to do some yarn winding here real soon. But it is just wonderfully squishy and glorious. And I love the fact that it's made from their yarn, or their sheep. So that was my last yarn purchase. I did not go to the Wool and Tartan Wool, even though I walked past it several times, because like I said, at that time I was just like, I couldn't justify another yarn purchase. I had to like try to decide what to do with some of my other ones, right? Like, I don't really know exactly what I'm going to do. I know it's going to be Saltwater Stash Down, but I don't have a project picked. I don't really have a project pick for this one, so I couldn't really justify buying more yarn that I didn't have a project pick for. So yeah, I love the Wool and Tart. I just, spending fatigue, too much yarn. So yeah, that is, I'm done buying yarn for several months. So yeah, it's going to be really satisfying to work from stash. And I'm really looking forward to getting back to my scrappy blankets and using up all the little balls of yarn. That is what January is going to be. Actually, maybe right after Christmas. That is just going to be scrappy blankets. Maybe I won't even do a Christmas Eve cast on this year. Maybe I'll just do scrappy blankets right from Christmas until the end of January. That would, yeah, that seems like an idea, actually. Because, yeah, I was thinking of picking some yarn from my stash to do the Christmas Eve cast on, but we'll see. There's still a lot of time between now and then, although I say that and then I blink and the time is gone. But yeah, okay. So that was a lot of talking about acquisitions. Let's talk about finished objects. I think I had these in the last episode. These are Opal 6-ply ribbed socks, just a 3x1 rib, which was my usual for a rib sock. The yarn is from their latest rainforest collection. This one is after the little lizard guy who is like black and orange. I can't remember what the colorway was called on the thing, and I meant to bring the ball band up here, but of course I forgot. What can you do? But here they are. I love the Opal 6-ply. I love the little bit of chonkiness to it, but not too chonky. It is just amazing. So these are Halloweeny socks. It's that time of year. My favorite time of year. Getting into the fall things. So these I cast on 56 stitches on a, what's a US 2? Is it a 2.75? I think it's a 2.75. Anyway, it was a US 2. So, and yeah, I think I did 15 rows for the cuff, 2x2 rib, and then went into the 3x1 rib. And I used my usual heel flap and gusset. I find that is the one that fits best. That's kind of why I have avoided doing toe-up socks, because I don't know if you can get a heel that fits as well as this one from the bottom up. You can correct me in the comments if you know, and then I might actually try doing toe-up socks. But I've seen people just do short row heels when they're doing toe-up, and I know short row heels does not fit my foot as well. I can only assume that it doesn't fit my family's feet as well because genetics. But anyway, so that was those. And then I have another finished object. Let me just dig through my bag here. Saltwater Stash Down mittens. These are the salt and pepper mittens, and they are from this book, which is Saltwater Gifts. And I have the other pair still on the needles. Oops. I'm going to finish those next, but I knit these ones a little bit bigger than the other ones. So I knit the cuff in the recommended size for the cuff, which I think was a US 3. And then the mitten, they recommend a US 4, and which I did on those mittens, and they're quite a bit smaller. Let me just grab that one. You can see the size difference. I wanted these ones to be a little bit bigger, so I did a US 5, or which is what, a 3.75, I think. You can correct me in the comments, but I'm just gonna look it up though. So yeah, I wanted these to be a little bigger. I think that's the only adjustment that I really made. I made the cuff a little longer, and then I think I did just a few more rows of the hand, but the thumb, when I knit it in the recommended number of rows, it came out like long enough. So I just went with it. They still need to be blocked. All the ends are woven in, but they still need to be blocked. I will show them again after I block them because they look a little uneven right now. The mittens, the Streely Made mitts that I finished last time, they also need to be blocked, so I'll throw them in the water together. I used Briggs & Little Heritage. This is just the color navy. This is the other version of Northern Sky that, you know, caused all the trouble. But it came in handy in these mittens, so there's that. Yeah, so the tip of the hand was not an adjustment. This pattern actually calls for the more rounded one. I know on the Streely Made, I switched from the picket fence one to the rounded one like this, which I prefer to the picket fence. So I didn't have to adjust that for these ones because that is what the pattern called for. I think that is going to be my go-to for any of the saltwater mittens that I knit. Anyway, yeah, I forgot to mention that you can get Dan Fitzpatrick's yarn online. You don't have to go to the shop. So I'm going to link her shop as well below. And if you're interested in any of her exclusive colorways of Briggs & Little, you can go have a look. But this is the version of Northern Sky that you would be getting, not the one that's in my fire season blanket. So, yeah. Okay, let's talk about the fire season blanket. This mammoth of a project. It's actually really enjoyable to work on. So here it is, and I'm getting there. I'm almost done August. Since last time I recorded, I did from here to here. So I am catching up. I can't wait to be done it so I can cast on my island embrace and do other projects. And I'm also looking forward to using it. I don't know, I'm going to drape it along the back of a couch or something so you could see the progression of the fire weather. Here it is. It is a long blanket. Like, I don't know if it's going to grow or anything like that, but anyway. So let's have a look, shall we? So we had high, and then there was obviously some rain, so we went down to low, then jumped back up to high, and then we had a few days of moderate. I really enjoy this stripe right here with the moderate, the green, with one yellow on either side of it. I actually like this one too with the yellow on either side, but yeah, that's super fun. I enjoy that. And then it went high again, and then up to very high, and then back down to moderate. And the colors, this is the other Northern Sky from the Northern Sky saga. And this is the green I showed you earlier, which is called Folly Mountain Spruce. There's the gold, which is in Briggs & Little's regular collection, and this one is coral, I think. And that is DM Fitzpatrick Studio yarn. So I'm almost done August, which is means it's almost time for a white stripe. And since it is September 30th and fire season ends on October 15th, I don't have that much further to go. So what is the pattern? The pattern is Garter Chevron Blanket by Katherine Anderson. Chevron is just really enjoyable to knit. It gives enough interest that you're not bored, yet you can still watch a show or a movie that you haven't seen while working on it, because it doesn't take away like your entire attention. So coming up at some point in September, there's going to be a huge block of yellow because the fire index went to high and just stayed there for days and days and days. And I mean, it's not all of the weather stations that are at high in Cape Breton, but if one of them is, then that's the one I'm going with for the day, right? So while I was in the valley, or like while we were at the week that the cruise ship came in, and while I was at the valley, it was all yellow. So I was hoping we'd get up to extreme again. My coworkers would probably disagree with me on that, just so I could get another extreme stripe in there, because the only one for the whole year is right there. So, and then a big rain event right here. Yeah. So that is the fire season blanket. I will probably do a little work on that this evening as a little bit of comfort knitting. I did not get my little socks done. Kind of not in the mood to work on them tonight. Maybe that'll be a tomorrow thing. I really do want to get them finished. So September was a finishing month, and I'm going to give myself one more week of finishing before I move on to casting on new things. It is October tomorrow, but I do have socks on the needles that I can work on. There's the opal ones that I didn't work on in the last week, and then there's the work in progress that I'm going to show you right now. These are this year's Halloween socks. They are for me. This yarn is Stitch Noir. Oh, I stopped mid-row. I don't normally do that. Well, I don't normally do that. That is unfortunate, but it's fine. It's on the cable. I'll have to do a couple of rows on these later. So the pattern I went for this one is the Simple Skip socks, which is one that I've knit a lot. It's another one that's like fairly intuitive and not boring, like has enough interest so that you're not bored, but you can still watch things that you haven't seen before. So the yarn, did I already say it? Stitch Noir, and the colorway is Goblin Queen, and it is highly enjoyable. I have to put a yarn cozy on this thing. I'm pulling from the center of the ball. I intended to put a yarn cozy on it, and I just didn't get around to it. Oh, you know what? I think the yarn cozy for this size is still on the Corn Maze sock yarn. So I'm going to have to switch that out. And I should also cast on kid socks out of the leftover yarn of that one. So that is that. It is in my Halloween bag with little cats and dachshunds. Where are the cats? I thought there were more cats. There's cats there. Oh, here we go. Little pirate and lizard cat. Okay, so guess what's back? Here it is. The body is finished. Oh, that is bent, so you can't see it that well. There we go. Here we go, right there. Right now. There it is. The body is finished. I tried it on. I think the neck is going to be okay. It is a little bit fitted. I don't know how much it's going to grow when it's soaked. It is not superwash yarn. It is Saltwater yarn. So I don't know how much it will grow when I soak it, but as it is right now, it's kind of fitted. So I accomplished that. That was one of my goals. I didn't finish my teeny socks, but I got the body finished on my Wintersal. Oh, I didn't say what this is, did I? This is the Wintersal by Jennifer Steingass. And it is in Let Lope yarn. I can't remember the colorways. I think this one is just called navy. This is like sapphire something, and this is like light gray. The colors are not flashy names. So anyway, when I tried it on, I was really happy with, because you never know, like you could try something on and it could be a complete disaster. I'm so used to knitting or wearing like long things that at first I was like, oh my god, this is too short. And it wasn't. I looked at it in the mirror, I was like, wait a minute, if I knit this any longer, it'd be a tunic. So yeah, but I'm really happy to have that body finished. So now I can get on to Sleeve Island, and it should be fairly smooth sailing from here. And then I'll be able to cast on another garment, and we'll be back into the year of the garment. Even though it's October doesn't mean I'm only going to be knitting socks. I will also be knitting garments. And plus I have to knit Christmas gifts, which are mostly socks, but there might be the odd different thing. So anyway, that is all my works in progress. And now I will talk about our lovely day that we had at the Port of Sydney with the grocery girls and some other yarny people. You might be wondering why I'm like, the camera might be a little shifted from where it was. It's because I was looking for this. All of my stuff is now like in a pile right there because I was going through everything. I knew I put it in the bag to bring upstairs to talk about with all the projects and everything to talk about. It was tucked in one of my books, like the one that I track my stash in. And yeah, I was kind of losing my mind looking for it. So this is a little tag that Tracy of Tracy's Rolling Yarn Shop had made to commemorate the grocery girls visiting. Oh, it's focusing on my face. We'll get my face out of the way there. So isn't that cute? That little sheep is the one that's like on her logo. And then has a little lighthouse and stuff, so. Anyway, yeah, so I was tearing everything apart there. So she had those in a little basket on the table. So I went down to the port, and I didn't know anybody there aside from Tracy, which I have a bit of social anxiety. I am an introvert. If you see me in public, come up to me and say hi. Like, I'm just awkward. I'm really awkward. So anyway, my buddy Anil was in the sea can next to Tracy, so I stopped to see him a little bit. I came in, I kind of took everything in that was going on. Tracy had yarns out on the table, like the Muskoka ones, and Timber Yarns had their Nova Scotia yarn out, and the emotional support chicken kits by Pretty String were out, and she had refreshments. She had oat cakes, which are a staple basically here in Nova Scotia. Really great oat cakes around here. I don't know if they're as good as the ones in Scotland, but they're pretty great. So anyway, she had those and the little tags that we could take, and I'm gonna put mine. Oh, I thought my Mrs. Brown's bag was still hanging up there. I guess it's not. The one that I had, the bag that I have my chicken parts in, my yarns designated for emotional support chicken, is a Mrs. Brown's bag, like boxy bag, and I'm going to put this on that one. Okay, so where was I? I went down, socially awkward, sat down for a bit, and then I got adopted by an extrovert. Hi, Carrie. So I was chatting with her and one of her knitting friends, Carol, and then the grocery girls came, and they at one point, one was sitting on either side of me, and I was chatting with Jody, and Tracy was chatting with, I think, Carol and Carrie. I will put a picture up right here that Carrie took. And the Dyers that were there were Natural You, who are from here in Nova Scotia. It is Andrea is the mom and Jasmine is the daughter. And I love their yarn. The thing about their yarn is that their colors are very garment friendly. Like they just like meld together, and all of them like suit each other. So I'm thinking my birthday purchase this year will be a sweater quantity of one of the fingering weights of Natural You yarns, probably in their Echo base. I really like that one. So anyway, they were there, and Heather and David from Timber Yarns were there, and they brought the Muskoka yarn with them. And you know, I love Timber Yarns. And then of course Karen from Pretty String. You saw well, it's in the pile now. When I was looking for the tag, I can't grab it, it's down there, and Maisie is checking things out now. But yeah, you saw how gorgeous that skein yarn is. So we're sitting down chatting. Tracy and Jody asked like where they should walk and go for a walk to see some things, and Carrie said, well, why walk when you can drive, basically, and invited me to go along to take them on a tour, a little bit of a tour around Sydney. So that is what we did. We took them and Vincent around. Vincent was there. He was teaching crochet on the cruise. I would have loved to have taken his crochet course. I want to learn how to crochet, and he was just so nice. Like, you can tell that he is like probably a super attentive instructor. And his Instagram, I looked at his Instagram, and it is just, the vibe is just very calming and stuff. Like, it's just, yeah, he had a really great vibe. And he also knits and designs knitwear, and I will also link him below. And so we took them for a drive, and then they offered to take us to lunch. So we went to Governor's, which is a restaurant just up from the Port of Sydney, up from the cruise pavilion, and Mary Jane Mucklestone joined us. So that was wonderful. They're just like they are on screen. They're just like that in person, like just really friendly and easy to talk to and joking, and just, it was just a great time. So we took them back down to the port after lunch because Vincent and Mary Jane had to go and get ready for their courses that they were teaching. And yeah, so we mingled around for a bit longer until they had to go back on ship and take their course, and that was that. But Tracy of Tracy's Rolling Yarn Shop went all out with the refreshments and everything. She had a nice sign there welcoming the grocery girls and those who were in their group on the cruise ship. So yeah, I don't have a whole lot of video of the thing because I don't really take a whole lot of video when I'm in public amongst people, because I'm already socially awkward enough that I want to be approachable. So anyway, and I think like just like filming makes me even less approachable than I already seem, I think. I don't know. But yeah, so I don't have a whole lot of video. I do have them on the cruise ship waving goodbye, and you'll see that in a second. So yeah, that whole week was just, that was one of the best vacations I've ever been on, because it started out on the Wednesday with the cruise ship, and then the next day was driving to Amherst to go to the Amy Zoo's bookstore and DM Fitzpatrick, and then the next day was going to the Valley and going to Gaspereau Valley Fibers, and the next day was the wine tour, and just eating at a wonderful restaurant called The Church in Wolfville. And then the next day was apple picking and driving home. Yeah, I went apple picking too. So yeah, I think that was the best vacation. Maybe. I going to Toronto to see Pink was pretty awesome too, though. So I don't know. It's hard. But anyway, it is time for me to sign off because my little dog, I think, wants to go for a WALK. She's getting pretty sulky. So I have a little video montage as usual, and I am planning on recording next weekend, and we'll see how much I accomplish. I'll probably have an Island Embrace blanket cast on by then, even though I said wait until the fire season blanket is done, but I don't know if I can do that. We'll see. I'll try to finish some things first, but I will talk to you then. Until I see you next weekend, take care.